Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do a hardcore shop only challenge. This is a challenge I've kind of dreamt up. I'm sure other people have done a similar thing. All the gear that you wear or wield, armor, weapons, offhand shields, rings, amulets, medals, all that stuff, anything that you put into an equipable item slot has to be either bought from any vendor or crafted at the smith. You're obviously excluding buying it from the vendor from the buyback tab. You can't sell it to him and then buy it back. That would just be stupid. The whole point of this, the challenge, is to get through the game, get as far as you can without using looted gear. You can loot the gear, you have to loot it to sell it because you need money to buy stuff. So you loot everything, you just don't equip it. Start of the game is a bit of a faff because you will auto equip things. As you can see, when I'm running around, I will be checking what I've picked up and unequipping it as soon as possible. It's not like you completely blow the challenge if you run around with something equipped for a couple of minutes and don't realise. The idea is that you get yourself equipped with a bunch of stuff you've bought and have some kind of long-term plan, because you look at what faction vendors sell that you could be using at end game if you get that far. First thing you need to do is start off with a fresh save slot. I mean, obviously if you do this with a shared stash, you can use money, you can use merits, you can make it a lot easier for yourself. I'm not saying don't do that, I'm saying this is the way I would do it. And if someone wants to follow this challenge, these rules, start off with a fresh save by turning off cloud saves and by renaming your save folder. You don't lose the old save folder, you can flip-flop between them. Anything in that Grim Dawn, my documents Grim Dawn folder that's called save, that's the save folder the game will look at. So you can rename them all over the place, do what you want. Let's get on with this. I've got all this footage at ×2 playback, which you don't want to sit through a whole hour of this stuff. Hopefully it's about half an hour. Create a new character in hardcore, go in. I've got the rules, the instructions up as a watermark all the way through this. So if you drop into this video at any point, wonder what's going on, have a quick look up there. That's what I'm doing. The start of this is, I won't say tedious, but you'll pick things up, and if you haven't already got an item equipped in that slot, it will auto equip it. So what I have to do, not with those two obviously, but any bits of armor that I haven't got, rings, amulet, medal, whatever, if I pick one up, it'll equip it, so I then unequip it and go and sell it. Later on in this video, towards the end, I'll have items in every slot, so then it becomes a little bit more streamlined. You haven't got to keep checking that you haven't picked something up and equipped it. Now, I was going to go with a long-term plan with this. Although it's hardcore, you've got to have a long-term plan. I don't want to go in and just start messing around. So I picked Inquisitor, and I'm going to stick a point in Word of Pain. I think I accidentally put 2 points in there, but don't worry about that. And max out the second node. Max out the second node of Word of Pain, it becomes incredibly powerful. And that's without worrying about what gear you've got, because that's obviously part of the plan. You want to be strong without thinking, oh, if only I had whatever weapon. See, I didn't equip Francis's gun there, which I would have done normally playing a Purifier to pick that up, then quit the game, gone back in, got a second one, do it that way. But anyway, Word of Pain's really good. There's a whole bunch of leveling skills, one for each character type, for each mastery, that you could use, but my long-term plan is do a Purifier, and then the absolute guaranteed 100% really good weapon you can get is a two-handed weapon called a Desolator. Now you've got to be revered with Mammoth resistance, and I think it's either a level 90 or 94 item, can't remember. It's end game stuff. So that's where you could end up with if you're limiting yourself to shop gear. Go and have a look at the faction shops, because of course by shop I'm not just saying the random vendors that just sell any old junk, although to start with that's what I have to rely on. See, I'm just checking if it's getting equipped. What I'm saying is any shop, so including the smith. Now obviously to make the smith worthwhile, you've got to be able to read blueprints. So the only thing that you're restricting yourself on here is actual gear that you can equip. So you can loot it and sell it. You've obviously got to loot gear, pick it up and sell it. Otherwise, where are you going to get the money from? You're going to get piddly amounts of money from opening things and completing quests. So yeah, so you've got to be able to earn money somehow. And the challenge isn't, I didn't do this challenge thinking, how can I make the game really boring? What I thought was, how can I do a demonstration of you can do a really viable build if you just buy stuff from vendors. You haven't got to wait for legendary drops, you haven't got to get blue items, you haven't got to rely on monster infrequents. Now I tend to absolutely rely on monster infrequents. That is items that drop from unique enemies or groups of enemies, enemy types. Some of the shopkeepers in the game sell monster infrequent items, so there is a loophole. However, there aren't that many vendors that sell stuff that will work with the Inquisitor. There are other things you can do, like if you went with an Arcanist and you wanted the Ascendant Conduit, you can buy that from Hiram as soon as you get him opened up in Malmouth in the Steel Cap area. But I thought, oh, I've just done that Panetti's build with that Conduit, otherwise I would have maybe had a go at that. But in hardcore you're going to be struggling. With this build, in hardcore I shouldn't be struggling, not too much anyway. And as a guide for clearing Act 1, well, it's probably okay. I mean, if you did what I'm doing, you'd get through Act 1 and you'd be okay. See, look at Word of Pain. You can just run around a group and dump it on them, and it doesn't massively use energy. Although what I'm doing for the first 5 level ups is I put the point into Spirit, which is a good idea. If you've got any kind of caster build, stick those first 5 points into Spirit, so you get rid of most of your energy issues and you're not thinking, oh, you know, one day I'll have enough energy to do this. Because it's not going to wreck your build, sticking 5 points into Spirit at the start. And if you get to the end of the game or a much higher level and you think, I no longer need that, then you can reclaim the points with the potion and redistribute them as you see fit. But I don't think you're not going to miss those 5 points. You're not going to be running around thinking, oh, if only I'd put those 5 points in physique, I wouldn't be dying as much. Reanimator can be a bit of a challenge if your gear is rubbish and you haven't got a decent skill sorted out by the time you get in there. It doesn't mean that you're going to be in any danger, it just means it's going to take a while to kill him. So I'm just going to do as many of these boys out here as I can. Prepare myself for the big fight. It's good, the ones that come out of the ground with Word of Pain, you can pretty much wipe them all out. Apart from the tough ones, you can wipe them all out before they even come out of the ground completely. It's got good distance on it as well. You can take those ether crystal things out from up here with it. You can see their health going down. And unlike something like Alexra's Flash Freeze, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but Word of Pain I think pretty much affects everything. Even bosses, it'll affect pretty much everything. If you know of anything that Word of Pain doesn't affect, call it out in the comments, because I'm not aware of it. Right, grab the shrine. I'm going to do Fiend first. And just to shock everyone, I'm going to put it on Inquisitor Seal once I've got Inquisitor Seal. The other thing I'm going to do eventually is get a Searing Ember as my spam attack. So you can dump Word of Pain on the group, and then if there's someone in the group who looks a bit tough, bomb the heck out of them with the Searing Ember attack. And that Searing Ember's really good. I've got a character where I use Searing Ember up to level 75. On this, what I'll do is I'll get Searing Ember and use it, and then when I get the blacksmith, he's got a default thing. It's bullets, flint called bolts, I think it is, and it's got an upgraded version of the Fire Blast you get from Searing Ember called Greater Fire Blast, so I start using that as soon as I can. There's all sorts of ways around the gear restriction. And I had a bit of a practice. I've got a bunch of videos up where I did a hardcore veteran no gear run. That character's still alive because I don't play it anymore. But I did a pet build, which again, you can cheat your way around some of these challenges. And if they're challenges you've invented yourself, you're hardly cheating. There you go. See, I auto-equipped that helmet when I picked it up and then took it off. I think there's a couple of items that I run around for a minute or two before I realise, but it's early game. It's not like, it's not like I would have died or something if I hadn't equipped it. I'm just trying to stick to the rules as much as possible. But it's not one of those challenges where, oh, if I accidentally equip something for 2 seconds, the run is void. Well, no, it's not. If I remember and unequip it, then that's fair enough. I'm not cheating, honestly. I mean, this is something, if you want to try this and you catch yourself after an hour or so thinking, oh no, I've been running around with some item, just go and sell it. Don't worry about it. It's only, you know, once you've got everything equipped and it stops auto-equipping, you can be a little bit more finicky about the rules, particularly if you get as far as elite. I mean, if you were in elite and you accidentally equipped some item you picked up, then maybe it's time to reassess whether you want to be doing this sort of challenge. Level 7, what am I doing here? Oh right, I think I put a point in physique then, trying to keep track of what I'm doing. So yeah, levels 2 to 6 I put them in spirit, and then 7 on up. I'm sure at one point I put a point into cunning because I was struggling with equipping guns, but it's the fun of playing an Inquisitor. This is me just selling stuff. Obviously you can't buy it back from the buyback tab, as I said at the start, because that's a bit... So if I look in here, I was looking for +2s. +2, 2, so like +2 and then space TO. So you're looking for a +2 to skills. Later on I just start putting in quiz in, INQIS, so if there's any Inquisitor gear in there it will show it. Got that extra skill point, stick it in the mastery bar. What I'm trying to do is raise the mastery bar while raising that second node, maxing that second node of Word of Pain out. There you go, that's the guy I rescued. That was the Milton quest. You get some XP from talking to the spirit guide. More than halfway to level 8. Yeah, I'm dumping all the stuff into shared stash. It's just what you do in hardcore. I mean, I do that in softcore as well, put everything in shared stash apart from specific gear items for the character that I don't think I'll bother using on anything else. Hardcore, just stick everything in shared stash, and when you die it's not so much of a pain in the neck starting again. Plus any blueprints you've read stay learned. If you've only got one hardcore character and you learn blueprints and die, when you start the next one those blueprints will already be learned. You haven't got to do it all again. Unless you do a reset like I showed at the start, like where you rename the save folder, then you do lose all the blueprints. In the new save folder, not in the previous one obviously. The one you renamed, you can always rename that back to save and you'll get all your characters and all your blueprints and everything back. Right, I come up here, I want to start earning Rover's rep. So go and talk to this guy. Get this quest, check whether he's got anything for fire damage. I do think I buy that ring. Seem to remember buying that. Yeah, I bought that ring. Okay, so I bought a ring, so I've got a ring equipped. So now it's even more confusing. So if I pick another ring up and it equipped, well, at least I'll know which one it is. It's good to start equipping gear. So that's okay. So that was a legit purchase from that vendor. I'm now wearing that ring. Nothing else though. All the other stuff is the default starter kit. You don't have to unequip that. I mean, if you want to be, well, not stupid. If you want to be really, it's a vendor build, unequip the starter gear. But you're just going to be struggling unnecessarily then. I mean, that isn't the point of it. The point of it is how far can you get using vendor gear, not how difficult can you make the start of the game. I mean, you could do a version of this where it's like, you know, you don't have to use vendor gear until level 20. So you can use whatever. I mean, that would probably be a better way to do it. Or you don't have to use vendor gear until the Krieg fight. So you can clear all of Act 1. Don't go into Act 2 at all. Say, do Act 1, and then before you fight Krieg, you can only be wearing stuff you've bought. So up to that point, you can wear whatever. Because it doesn't make a massive difference. Although you get to fill your slots up quicker. I was struggling a bit with money for a while, and then all of a sudden, I think I had plenty. I mean, I've played this there's quite a few videos recorded of this character. It's not dead yet, not at the moment. I've been playing it for quite a few hours. It's all right. Got into Act 2. I think I've got as far as... I'm trying to think how far I got. I got as far as talking to Quaid. And I think I stopped before I started going up doing the... Oh, no, actually, no. I think I've done... I'm trying to remember what I've done. I haven't killed Cromley yet. But have I got as far as Cromley's hideout? Possibly not. So I was debating whether to fight those idiots in that pit, and that's probably not a good idea. Although I have got a full set of gear. And I've killed Krieg, obviously. I've killed Krieg. I've got into Forgotten Gods. Joined Dreeg just because, I don't know, I like doing the Dreeg stuff. I used to think Bismail was the easiest one to do, but Dreeg's quite a laugh. But you can't use the blitzy movement skill unless you've got a melee weapon. And with guns, obviously, I'm going to bought it and put it on a medal and then thought, oh, okay. So I didn't read the tooltip. Well, I did, but I just didn't even think about it. Now, see that she equipped some stuff there. I just took it straight off. Every time I pick something up, I have a look in inventory, make sure I'm not wearing it. There you go. I think that was a belt. There's the helm. Oh, was it a belt? I don't know. I mean, you can auto-equip stuff, so you can't say, you know, you must never equip stuff. It's just try not to run around wearing it. But if you do, like I said, don't worry too much about it. First Slith Necklace. This took a while to get all three of these. Oh, and quest items, you can't wear them either, unfortunately. So when you cash that quest in, you're only doing it for the rep and the XP and whatever. If you get the ring, just sell it straight away. Alright, Word of Pain's looking good. It is a good skill. I messed up when I did the original video about leveling skills and I said it wasn't very good because I put all the points in the first node. And if you do that, it's not so good. You want to put 1 point in the first node and then max out the second node. And then look at that, look. Do you see that lot go then? You might want to rewind that and watch that. It was hilarious. There was a whole load of zombies just vaporised. Negan's got it on him. Oh yeah, I've got Fire Blast now. See the attack skill on button 2? That's the Fire Blast from the Searing Ember component. It's very powerful. But again, that and Word of Pain do tend to eat through my energy, but it's alright, it's acceptable. Totem coming up, this is a good test. Keep an eye on my health because this guy does hit quite hard. There you go. Ooh. Yeah, totems. If you want to lose a hardcore character, just run in and start clearing a lot of totems. It's a weird way to play, selling everything. Yeah, I've turned the white items off now, I got fed up picking that stuff up. Fire damage. Next time I got another gun, I reckon. Saved a mastery point so I could just put it straight into ranged expertise and equip that other gun. And I've kept a few attribute points back just in case. Yeah, look at this. This is what I mean. When you've got stuff in every slot, you haven't got to do this, but I'm just picking it up and it's auto. I had a look in the options to see if there was an option, like a toggle thing, saying auto equip picking up items. I couldn't find it. If it's there, please tell me and say you're not looking properly, mate. There's an option there to not auto-equip the stuff you pick up. Because I thought there was, and then I couldn't find it. Because I would have turned it off. It would have made this a lot easier at the start of the game. Like I said, once you've got every item slot filled with stuff you bought, you haven't got to keep checking them when you pick stuff up. Because it won't replace the things you're wearing. But yeah, that doesn't happen until very near the end of this video. And then I'm alright. So after that, so the next videos, if you can be bothered watching the next episodes, there's none of that messing about looking at my flipping inventory every 2 seconds to see what I'm wearing. There's Milton. Yeah, he does not like being shot with that fire blast, does he? He doesn't like Word of Pain either. Yeah, I took a health pot there. That's the thing in hardcore. I mean, if your health starts dipping, just take one. Because what's the alternative? Not taking one. Oh, I'll save a health pot, and then you die, and then you've got to play through the first hour of the game again, or whatever. Sal. Is quite cathartic actually, because what I tend to find is if I'm playing normally, I'll miss single slot things like rings and amulets when I'm selling stuff, and I'll have my whole first tab full of rubbish I'm never going to use because I couldn't be bothered selling it. But with this, it's like you got to sell everything, so it's easier. If I'm browsing a vendor now for ages and not buying anything, I'll just took the footage out, because that is where it gets really flipping boring. But every time I buy something, I will show that I've bought something, so you can see the sort of things that I'm buying. At the moment, it's just 1 ring and 2 guns. Finally got Barnabas's scrap, got to level 11. Let's go in and do, actually no, I think for some reason I didn't do Viloth. I wanted to get a bit further up, do some other stuff. Oh, I know, it was the Isaac Spolders. This is, yeah, I do actually mess this up because there's a quest to go and get Isaac's stash. And he's got some unique, rare, green rarity shoulders in the stash. I think I'll keep them equipped for about a minute before I realise that I've equipped them. It's not enough for me to go, oh yeah, I completely wrecked the challenge. I don't think I was getting much benefit from them anyway. You'll see it happen in a sec. So yeah, I'm doing a pretty good job of unequipping stuff, and I talked to Isaac, loot his dead mate's body, unequip that ring, because that was not the one I bought. The one I bought was on the other hand. And if you want to do this quest, this retaliation gear, the shoulders, if you're doing a retaliation build, go and grab these early on. So the reason why, I'm trying to think what I'm going to say, the reason why I'm running up here, I honestly don't know what I'm doing. I can't remember what I was doing here. Oh yeah, just clearing part of the map. It's interesting, isn't it? I did this and I don't know why I did it. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, it was to collect the Slith Necklace. Brilliant. Well done, John. Then I'm not mapping back, so I left a portal by those guys. By the quest guy. So I can go up here, click on this. Look at that, it's almost like I know what I'm doing. Cash that in and then immediately unequip it and then sell it to his mate. Have a look for some stuff. Fire damage. Belt. Go on, buy the belt. Buy the belt. Buy it. Yeah. Anything else? Other ring? Yeah, buy the other ring. Good. So I've got 2 rings and a belt. So I've bought 2 guns, 2 rings, 1 belt. Last of the big spenders. This was lucky. This guy, I think the last couple of times I've done this quest, he's been the first place I've looked. Because there's about 3 different places he can spawn. It's alright faff trying to find him, but he's right there. There he is. If you're doing a vendor challenge, get this bloke, because he sets up a second shop. So in Devil's Crossing, you immediately double your chance of getting something decent from a vendor, because you've got 2 of them side by side, or rather either side of the prison gate if you want to be pedantic. I don't even bother going in to try and kill Primordian, because normally I would, but what's the point? It's a bit of XP, yeah, but the only thing he drops that's any good is that putrid necklace. 1, it's no good for this build. 2, I couldn't equip it anyway. There you go. There's Faldis. Well, that's not Faldis. Luther Graves. Faldis is the other guy that you rescued. So Luther Graves, he's got a chance to have some decent stuff, as has this guy. So shopping suddenly becomes a heck of a lot more appealing. Inquisitor's Claw Fetish. Yeah, can I afford that? Did I buy it? Can't remember. I don't think I did. They've got the Zeal one. That's the speed one. So I got an amulet now as well. With some speed and some offensive ability on it. Let's go and kill Viloth. This doesn't really need a voiceover. I'm going to take a break and just let you watch this, or just skip ahead, or do whatever you want. As always with this quest, I call out the fact that you get your first extra inventory bag completing that one, so I can pick up even more stuff to sell. Yeah, I think he's got a medal. It's level 14, but it's all right. It's of scorching, so I'll buy it. There you go. And I'll go and stick it in stash so I don't sell it by mistake when I'm selling a load of stuff. Because that would happen. You know that would happen. Don't know why I'm keeping that starter weapon with Searing Ember on it. Probably sentimental reasons, I don't know. Right, oh yeah, finally I'm going to go up and get... This is the Isaac's Stash quest. So if you want to do it, you remember that guy that was in that cellar about 20 years ago? He said go and find my stash, use whatever to kill everybody, and I went, yeah, alright. It's down here. This is the thing where I loot it all. I unequip the boots. There you go. But I forgot to unequip the spaulders. Does that invalidate the whole run? No, not really. I wore it while killing that insect. I'm still wearing it. I go back to DC, I go to the shop, I look and I think, oops, and I sell it. So yeah. Did it make that fight against that insect any easier? Probably not. This is where I actually fill up all my slots now. Fill up all my slots and then thankfully we're near the end of the video. Bet you can't wait. I'll do another couple of episodes of this. Actually alright. I was watching it back thinking, yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, it's flipping tedious, but it's okay. I'm just buying anything. It doesn't really matter